tukuna whākai o rākau kōrero ki tēnei ahi wānaka o te pōnei, tēnei wānaka o matariki tāpuapua, matariki ahukanui, matariki ukanui. O reira, tēnei tumi kia koe e te matua e bana, tēnei tumi.
Tēnei tumihi kia tiaki kia whakatūpare te ato mātou hui tēnei hō. No reira, tēnā koe. Kia koutou mā o Whaingaroa, tēnā koutou katoa. Huri noa ki te waka o Tainui, tēnā koutou. Me era atu ngā tauiwi ko noho mai nei raro i te whare mahana i te pō makariri, tēnā koutou katoa. Thank you for the warm welcome to the New Zealand Public Party here this evening, to be amongst your series of events and speeches this evening. Since the last week of April until now, it has been a roller coaster, it has been an inspiration for this man to my right, Mr. Billy Te Kahika. As the New Zealand public have done, you have all spoken. You have all spoken to retain your right to be New Zealanders. This is why we're here. We are not a cause, we are not a pressure group. We are a party, but we're bigger than that. We're bigger than being a party. We are your movement. This is a movement of New Zealand throughout the whole of New Zealand. And why? Because the very thing that created this democracy, that the people who have shed blood on this land and who have shed blood overseas, who have paid the price, is now being negotiated away to a foreign power, to a foreign group, and to a foreign group of people that simply want to control us. And so, as I introduce this man, he, since his first post in the last week of April, has uncovered the lies, he's uncovered the network, and he's uncovered the very threats to the things that we as New Zealanders have built and taken for granted. And so it gives me much pleasure to introduce to you all Mr. Billy Te Kahika!
Tuia ki te rangi, tuia ki te nākau, tuia ki te whenua. Ko te mea nui, ko te aroha a ihu kraiti. Ko te wihi ki te atua me whakakorori atono ingoa wā katoa. Ko tai mai te manakitanga ki runga e te kingi a ihu kraiti, pai mai riri kei aia, me tono whare, me te kaupa mea nui o tēnei pō. E nā uri e te waka, tainui, e mihi mai kai te kirunga e te korawai a whakawhanangatanga. Ko maramara ko au e te waka tainui. Nau mai hara mai ki te tautoko e te kaupapa o te pō. E te iwi nā hu e whā, e nā whānau noa, whaingaroa. Ka nui te koa me tahari ki te tūtaki i a koutou ki runga e te korawai e whakawhanangatanga. Ko tai mai a hau ki te tautoko, freedom, me nā hau ora tangata, health, me te pai whai rawa, economic sovereignty. Ko tai mai ki te tautoko e te kaupapa, ki runga e nā ahotanga o tēnei wā. Taki timu tainui te waka, toki kapu te marae. Ko taku matua rangatira, ko tāne upataia no ka whia no waitomo. Ko taku papa, ko Billy Kay, te kai arihi o te raturaku. Ko Billy te Kahika, taku ingoa, tēnā koutou, wonderful to see you all tonight. Kia ora, thank you. Thank you. Nobody could be more surprised than I am to be standing here before you this evening. As many of you know that have been following me online, 9 weeks ago I did a live broadcast for my little farm up in Taitokiro in Whangarei, from my little farmhouse on a Sunday afternoon at the end of April. It was a couple of weeks into the COVID scandemic lockdown, and all the information that I'd studied over 20 years started to come together for me. I just want to point out that right now, when the crisis was announced, that there was a COVID-19 super virus that was amongst the world's population let out, I was very, very concerned, because my first thought was that it was a bioweapon that had been put together designed to kill loads of us. So I was an advocate for the lockdown, and boy, I tell you what, my partner and I, we got all the toilet paper, just kidding. But we seriously were prepared and ready for whatever may come. But I've done about 20 years of research studying geopolitics. Also, as a Christian, I've studied the books of Revelation and Daniel, and I knew something was ahead of us, and I knew that whenever it started to happen, it was going to be massive, because the geopolitical signals that you're looking for are massive. And that sounds a bit vague, and I'll drill down into that in a second. But I knew, after a couple of weeks of lockdown and seeing the narrative change from the government in several different ways, I knew that it was starting to smell like a rotten fish, a whole narrative. So what did I do? I started to research and investigate all aspects of the COVID-19 narrative. I examined the science, the medical basis for the scandemic. I also looked at what I call the chain of evidence of players and actors involved in the crisis. And then what I also started to do, I started to look at different chains and aspects of evidence to come up with some probable eventualities. That's called intelligence assessment, threat assessment. And I'll tell you what, once I sort of got to a certain point, I knew right then and there that this whole thing was a hoax. Not doubting that there is a COVID-19 virus, that's not the issue here. That we know that it exists, and there's a terrible story around that. But I could see that the globalist leaders of the planet were finally upping up the ante to get what they really, really want to achieve. And that is a global system under the United Nations Programme's Agendas 21 and 30. And this was going to be the mechanism that they were going to do it. So let's study the COVID-19 information that I looked at. Number one, I looked at all the players that were talking about the COVID health risk. It led me to, of course, the Imperial College of London, to one Dr. Neil Ferguson, who is literally the medical professional that is the boy that cried wolf. He's the guy that says the sky is falling. He's done it many times and been disproven. How he's kept his job is a miracle beyond all belief, because the man is a paid liar. He is a paid liar, Neil Ferguson. Check him out if you don't know him. And what he said when this COVID-19 crisis appeared and materialised, he said unless the world combined as one solid global unit to defeat it, we can expect hundreds of millions of deaths. That the lethality of the disease itself was rated between 3 and 6% lethality, which is just, that's like nothing we've ever seen. And he said even with a global lockdown, that if we didn't employ social distancing, we would expect tens of millions and tens of millions of deaths, if not the hundreds of millions. Have we seen that? No, we haven't. We haven't seen that at all. Okay, so then what happens is he spits this information out. The WHO appears on the scene, led by the communist Tedros from Ethiopia. And he picks up this faulty information and says, this guy is going to fall down, this is a disease and we all need to lock down, we need to follow the global program. What happens then? Bill Gates appears on the scene, Mr. Vaccination himself. And he starts to say there's got to be a global vaccination program to protect all of Earth's citizens. And of course he didn't mention the fact that he'd been studying for years and decades coronaviruses, funding the Purbright Institute in the UK to study viruses and vaccines for coronaviruses. And he didn't mention that the next entrant on the scene was Dr. Anthony Fauci, Trump's advisor in the medical health response in the United States. Didn't mention that the two of them were like that, and that Tony Fauci sits on the executive board of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Didn't mention that Dr. Fauci had given a certain Wuhan Chinese scientist access to the Fort Detrick bioweapon science lab in North Carolina. Forgot to mention that he gave them $3.7 million US for which they could design the link from a coronavirus, this particular bat virus, so that it would evolve into a human-leaping virus, therefore weaponizing it. Then the scientist leaves the United States, goes back to Wuhan, and hey presto, by accident, suddenly a wet market who had no connection to the lab suddenly is blamed for releasing this super virus on the world's population. But that wouldn't be so bad if we didn't start thinking about it and then start to see the programs around enforcing a lockdown protocol around the world. And that's when it starts to get really interesting. But let's just park that part of the presentation over here, because what I want to point out to you is that New Zealand has just endured truly the greatest disaster ever to hit our shores. More disastrous than any earthquake, tornado, or tsunami. We have endured and are still enduring the government under the communist leadership of Jacinda Ardern. And I was the first to say that with TV cameras on me. No one else did or would. The threat that this government represents right here and now threatens every one of us that loves to hunt, fish, grow our own veggies, have freedom to decide to vaccinate or not vaccinate our children, to live in freedom. This government is after all of it. But not only that, it wants to destroy our economy, take our freedoms away from us, destroy the Treaty of Waitangi, we'll go into that, tinker with the New Zealand Bill of Rights document, and set up a hedge of protection for themselves so that they can fully implement the Agenda 30 program. Now, Jacinda Ardern was featured at the Goalkeepers event last year, and of course it's funded and presented by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, where she stood on the lectern and said to a packed house that she would take New Zealand into a level of commitment to Agenda 30 that no other country could match. That she and her government were committed to 100% indoctrination and implementation of the Agenda 30 principles. But what is Agenda 30? We'll go into that. I want to point out the COVID-19 hoax has been based on the proven faulty information of Dr. Neil Ferguson, and that this was further validated by a discredited WHO, and then substantiated by a list of billionaires with a conflict of interest as long as perhaps this room, because they all have a commercial interest. As Bill Gates said on American TV last year, that really being involved in the vaccination or vaccine industry actually makes great commercial sense. Why? Because for every $1 that I invest, I get 20 back. And that's how he's starting to aggregate and accumulate wealth. But we now understand that this virus is now nothing more, simply nothing more than a very strong virus. In fact, I say that just to be PC, because the Stanford University has just released, through the wonderful leadership of one of my heroes, Dr. John Laurinaitis. Google him, YouTube him, hear him talk about this. He is one of the world's top 5
epidemiologist, and he said this whole thing is wrong. So they've just done an update on the lethality or the deathliness, if you like, of the virus, and it's, listen to this, 0.004. I'll say that again, 0.004. And that isn't even as strong as a strong flu virus. And then Dr. Ashley Bloomfield, the unelected bureaucrat, under the direction of Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern, and despite objections from our own leading scientists in the field of epidemiology, then started to destroy our own Kiwi way of life using this scandemic. The scandemic has been the very cause that the globalist global political leaders needed to usher in the United Nations Agendas 21 and 30. This is the mechanic. We're seeing it rolled out right before our eyes. And these agendas, if you don't know, are not conspiracy, they're not conjecture. Go to un.org, look at that, and then go to all the commentary online, and that will brief you up. And one lady that I'm a big fan of is a lady called Rosa Koire, Koire. Google her, because right now she's fighting states, counties, cities in the US right now to try and free the American citizens from the tyranny of Agenda 30. But these programs in themselves control every aspect of what we as humans need to live, what we eat, what we grow, our education, our medical, our economical situation, our business situation, our legal situation, and everything that we need to live as a human, but not in peace and certainly not in freedom. And I just want to point out right now, before I go any further, Jacinda is a bred socialist globalist. From very, very young, this is not on my speech, I'm just sidestepping a bit of background here. She, as a very young lady, she was groomed for this. She started off as an assistant in Helen Clark's office. Now, I've met Helen Clark at the UN in 2016, and I tell you, it's the first time I met her in person, and there's something otherworldly about her. She's different. She is the globalist. She is the matron of globalism. And you don't become number 3 in the United Nations if you're not. You have to have completely sold your soul to do that. So Jacinda starts off being groomed with Helen Clark. That's point number 1. She then gets seconded where? Of course, Tony Blair's office. Where's Tony Blair today? He's a UN ambassador. One of the greatest war criminals in our time, and he's working for the United Nations right now. From there, she comes back to New Zealand, and hey presto, 2009, she gets elected as the president of the International Youth Socialist Organisation, and that is the incubator of all of the future communist, tyrannical murderers that you can imagine. So she's bred for this, groomed. She knows exactly what she's doing. She's friends with, you guessed it, Hillary Clinton. Yep. Thank you. Oh yes, only a few months ago, Hillary Clinton flew in on her private jet, flew out in her private jet, and hey presto, guess what? She gave your money and my money, this is Jacinda, to Hillary Clinton. She gave her our money. What for? What for? Went to the Clinton Foundation. Now the Clinton Foundation is one of the most crooked philanthropic organisations on the planet. They're under investigation all the time by the US Justice Department, by the FBI, and Hillary Clinton is under investigation right now, and the day she walks into jail won't be a day too soon. So Jacinda's very pally with Billy and Hillary. She's also good friends with we've already covered that, Bill and Melinda Gates. Good palsy-wowsies. She's friends with them all, bosom buddies. But let's not forget, as I say on my broadcast, this is not a left and a right thing, because John Key, I despised it almost as much as I dislike Jacinda. And I've got to say that because they both are globalists. This is not a left and right thing. I didn't like John Key, and I used to always give him a hard time about the TPPA, which is another symptomatic tool of what the inner goal really is, and that is to control everybody in a centralised unit. But the full implementation of these programs means untold misery for all living generations, especially you and I. Why? Because we know what it's like to be free. Kids don't. Truly don't yet. We know what it's like to grow our own lettuces, tomatoes, pumpkins, kumara, you know, whatever. But we know what it's like to be free to do this, to go fishing. I used to run through the fields down in the Waikato with bare feet and go and just, you know, eat watercress straight out of the creek. No problem. No problem. That's freedom. But that's the very thing they want to control through these programs. And Jacinda wants to see it fully implemented as soon as she can in Aotearoa, New Zealand. Absolutely fully implemented. So this is going to cause untold misery, but not for the kids. But why are the kids the soft targets? Let's think about it. Because through the school system, they indoctrinate them. Through Disney Channel, they indoctrinate them. If you're not cool, you ain't nothing. If you don't have the best, you're not worth anything. Dumb them down with GMO lollies. You know, all that type of stuff, distract them, give them devices so they're never ever taught how to think for themselves because they're only going to think about how to go. And that's part of the game. It's the link of things that they're going to use to undermine us all humans. And then all you need to do is put short and street at 6 o'clock every night, job done. It's true. It's very true. So what can we expect if she's successful in fully implementing these things? Number one, they're going to force us all out of our beautiful regional areas into high-density urban population areas. They will repurpose all of our beautiful whenua out in the regions into what they're going to call special designated areas. Look it up. It's on the UN website under Agenda 30. Special designated areas. And that is why they are not working with dairy farmers to help dairy farmers fix up their environmental practices because they want to destroy them. They want to destroy the farming community because that's part of the plan. If you can control the food chain, you control the people. You control the money, you control the people. And you lose your freedoms and your independence. And that's why this crisis is the perfect example of how to make people dependent on you. Why? Because you get your 7K, if you employ people, get handed out, and people get free money, and pretty soon, hey, she's all great, let's not go to work today because I'm going to get some free money. Additional to the high density populations and the repurposing of these very important sectors, in fact, I've had 2 farmers come to my last 2 presentations, and both of them are, you know, oh, you g'day Billy, type kind of guys, you know, dairy farmers. And they care deeply about environmentalism, they're wanting to do better, but they said to me, Billy, the government won't work with us. And we know why. It's that Agenda 30 thing, isn't it? They're onto it. They say, but we want help, we want to be able to get, you know, poo-converting stuff that'll turn into energy and petrol, and fuel, and power. But no one's helping us. These programs, we're going to apply for funding, but you've got to fill out this much of paperwork and then you're not guaranteed it. And it's paperwork that they said they didn't even understand. So it goes into the too hard basket and they walk away. And meanwhile, the Agenda 30 tyrants unpack to destroy the very number one now contributor to GDP. Because tourism used to be that. What did they do? Destroy it. So that moves farming back to its original place. So they're going to put us into the cities, take our free land off us, then we're going to be eating GMO food, we'll be force vaccinated, we'll be radiated by 5G, and not only radiated by 5G, that's the system where they'll parenting every aspect of your life. Your eye colour, you name it, where you go, how you travel, what you do with your money, who you see every day of the week.
They don't need that, bro. They don't need 5G.
Yeah, exactly. But 5G is the technocratic tool that they're going to take to ramp it up. Yes, face recognition has been around for some time, but this technology, once fully integrated into society, what is the next step? Transhumanism. Put a chip in you, and then they go. It's all a link in the chain, and if they don't fully integrate 5G, 6G into the community, they can't do it. And don't you think it's really strange that within a couple of weeks of the lockdown, hey presto, 5G towers all over Aotearoa. Just like that, overnight. And then of course it comes out.
Did anyone see one in Raglan? Was there a 5G tower down in Raglan?
There
There is, but it was here long before lockdown.
Who are you?
Yeah, but hold on, mate. Hold on. You can't use Raglan. Raglan may be the hero of the people, the centre of the earth here, but it's not the only place, because they're everywhere. Where I live in Whangarei, 5 of them down one part of Whangarei were popped up like that overnight. But not just here, everywhere. Absolutely everywhere.
A friend of mine was traveling into the city, working on travel to work, and he saw this putting them up, and he asked the question, how come you guys are on lockdown? Oh, well, we've got 4 weeks to put these up.
Yeah.
So it's part of the agenda. They've been doing it during lockdown.
Yeah, thank you. So what, yeah, but stay with me, but the purpose of the 5G rollout is a chain of tools. It's a chain of tools that we're going to use to control every one of us. And what they do is when they repurpose you out of the provincial areas like those into cities, there's nowhere to go, nowhere to run, and there's nowhere to hide. That's my point. And so what happens when you have all these things, force vaccinated, getting radiated, eating GMO food, we become a shadow of ourselves. Humans will change. So we now know that Jacinda Ardern is a globalist, and she's used this crisis to bring us down through a long-winded, unnecessary lockdown that has completely destroyed lives. Why? Because of suicides. In my area, we had 6 alone within 2 weeks. Men. 6 of them, let alone the poor man from Pukekohe, the butcher that killed himself, to find out he didn't need to close his business down because he was an essential service, but nobody told him that. The undiagnosed cancers, heart disease, diabetes, and it goes on and on. We haven't seen the true human cost yet of this pandemic. Domestic violence and financial ruin. Not only for the businesses, but for every one of us. I'm not a wealthy man. I'm comfortable. But they're going to destroy even me for what I've got. And all of you, every one of us. Not just the businesses, because it's a trickle-down effect, this type of economic destruction. And why are they getting us into more and more debt? Because that's part of the agenda to collapse the economy and make us all dependent on the state. That's exactly what it's about. But the most alarming impact of this pandemic has been the systematic, planned destruction of our freedoms through the unscrutinised, democracy-evading introduction of the COVID-19 health bill. And this is an interesting thing because I've been debating people about this since my very first broadcast. Uneducated people, and look, let me tell you, the government relies on uneducated people to get these things through. That's why it's important we talk about it as a family, as one whānau. Ko whānau ko tahi tātou. One people, one family. It doesn't matter if you're Māori, Pākehā, Chinese, Taiwanese, Indian, Sri Lankan. If you love New Zealand, we're all in this together. And we have to defeat it. It's one people. Let's talk about what's in this COVID-19 health response bill. Number 1, the Ministry of Health, not even the police, can designate authorised individuals, not even policemen, not military, authorised individuals that can basically come onto your land, go into your garage, walk into your garden and take you away and what? Arrest you, detain you, enforce a, inverted commas, medical procedure on you. Read the bill. Read the bill, please, guys. Go to it. It's on the parliamentary website. You can read it every day of the week if you want to. But the disturbing thing is this, guys. If it wasn't bad enough that a policeman, a constable, can go into your dwelling house or marae and arrest you and enforce a medical procedure on you, when he's done that, does he report back to his commanding officer or his section sergeant? No, he's going to report back to a Ministry of Health official. But even worse than all of this, as if it couldn't get worse, she's gone and handed the protocol management to a military commander. A military commander. But why? But why has she done this? And what does it mean? Why? Because suddenly, hey Christo, she's got thousands of more soldiers to police us in our communities. But when I said that that when civil law is given to a military commander to enforce, when I said that was under armed defence law or military law, I had this really clever individual get in touch and say, aha, Billy, we've got you. If you look in section 20 of the COVID-19 Health Response Bill, you'll see that only a constable can go in without a warrant into your home. And then I answered, I went, no. Why is that? Yeah, that's right. Because as soon as a military commander takes control of any domestic enforcement, then civilian law is subjugated and it comes under the control and jurisdiction of the military commander, and military law takes over. Martial law. Exactly. That's right. Martial law. Martial law. And what she had envisioned was exactly that. And what she didn't know when she tried to tear me down in strips is that 18 years earlier, I was at Trentham Army Camp in Upper Hutt in the Trentham Military Police Unit studying the very thing. So she thought she had me and I went, sorry, rug pulled. You know, but these are the type of trolls and people that I'm getting trying to stop me from telling you what's happening. Because military policemen, naval regulators, Air Force security, they can all be purposed and deployed to come into your whare right now and take you and your babies away and force vaccinations or whatever they want, because it's a medical procedure. And that's why she was trying to get us to lock down as long as she could, because they're working on the mechanics behind the scenes so that they can get a vaccine and put it in the arms of your babies. And I'll tell you what, I'm a Christian man, but I'll tell you what, that ain't going to be happening on my farm. So, thank you. So why all this? Because in order to bring in these UN programs and global corporate fascism, which is on the right, they need to control the food, the money, they need to destroy the middle classes, the business people, destroy New Zealand businesses so that they're no longer competitive and self-reliant, so they become used to government handouts. And when you get people like that, what happens? You become state dependent. And that's when they control the narrative. And then on top of that, they demotivate the will of the labour force by giving out free lollies all the time. So what happens? Oh, I don't think I'll go to work today because it doesn't matter. You're going to get paid anyway. My mate owns a couple of bars over in Whakatane. During this crisis, he was handing out money. Now he can't get the people to come back to work. That's what's happening to him. So his small, medium enterprises going down the tubes. But what these people don't realise, and they're loving Jacinda for giving out the lollies, is that if she fully implements this UN program, Agenda 30, then down the line, guess what you're going to be doing? You'll be on an agreed wage of $200 a week, which Helen Clark has already said she wants to implement and introduce. And that's what you'll be getting. Doesn't matter how hard you work or how lazy you are, everyone gets $200 a week, and then pretty soon that's a slave labour type of situation here in our first world country. So whānau, we are now standing at the edge of a mighty, mighty cliff. A mighty cliff. And we all of us must understand that the central issue that matters completely beyond anything right now is that we stop this government and we protect our rights and our freedoms and bring in government accountability and integrity. Because if we don't do that, there is no monetary reform, there is no outdoors, there is no health sovereignty, there is no alternative health. They'll destroy it all. And that absolutely astounds me that none of the other politicians, so-called, and other parties are standing up like this. That's why I got into this. I didn't want to. I have a beautiful life back at home, whānau. I'm the most reluctant politician you'll ever meet in your life. I've done it because we've had 700,000 people tune into the message that I've been putting out since my first broadcast. And all the calls for me to go into politics, I didn't want to do that. I'm a guitar player. I've been a small businessman all my life, self-entrepreneur. I left school at 15 without a degree. I worked for everything I got. I did not want this. I had no desires to plan to be in Parliament, none. I don't like politicians, I don't trust them, and I don't even like the beehive itself. I've been there a couple of times, I don't even like the place. But I tell you what, I struggled with it, I thought it through. My wife said, don't you dare. And up until about a week and a half ago, I thought it was the end of my marriage. Seriously, I love my wife and my family. They are, after God, the very first thing in my life. But I knew something about myself I discovered through this process, that if I didn't stand for this, I would never be able to think I was the man that I really thought that I am. And I'm really, really pleased to say that as of about the last week, my wife is 100% behind me. But she now knows what it means. And the thing is, what my wife has seen is my life be turned inside out, upside down. My life is not my own anymore. I have thousands of people tune into me every day. When I turn my phone on, all I get is ding, 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 and it goes on for about 15 minutes every morning. 15 minutes of messages, emails, posts. But the big burden I carry is seeing the pain, the anxiety, and the fear in people. It really gets me, it touches my heart, because we're all the same. All of us people, we all feel it, we know what's coming down the pipeline, but nobody stood up to say it all out like I did. And I did it very naively, it wasn't planned. You know, there's a guy right now claiming that that it always been planned, that I was a UN secret agent, a communist secret agent. I'm serious. I'm a Scientologist, I've got big money behind me. Well, go look at my wallet and see the big money in my wallet. No, I'm serious. People put us up, call us. That's how we're doing it. We can't take donations yet, we're about to, because we've got a special announcement to make in the next couple of days. And we've got, listen to this, normally you need 500 odd members to become a fully fledged party. They've got to register in, and then you're a party, and then they've got to become paid membership members. But when we made our call and went live, and this takes months, normally months, if not years to do, we did it in 2 days. We had 700 people sign up. And 10 days later, as of right now, we have 2,200 members in our party. Thank you. That's unheard of in politics. I'm naive at this. I'm a newbie, whānau. I don't know that blows out all the records for how political parties have performed. When everyone was jumping around going, golly, we've got 500 members in 2 days, I was like, oh, is that all? Because, you know, and they're like, you know, that should show you how genuine this is an experience for me. It should. But what I do want to tell you tonight is that we do have that decision to make. We've got to decide whether are we going to let the few, the twisted people, the few, the globalists that Jacinda represents, are we going to let them decide our futures? Are we going to decide as one whānau that we will stand up for Aotearoa, New Zealand, our country, and we're going to defend our principles, our values that have made us the Kiwis that we love to be? Are we going to do that, whānau? Are we going to do it? We are going to do it, and we have to do it, because this next election is the election of elections, because if we don't do this together, it's gone. It's gone.
There's no other option, is there?
There's no other option, because she can get away with doing this because the constitutional framework, the core of the government system, is corrupt and against us from its very inception. So family, I want to tell you this. Hope has arrived in Aotearoa, and it arrived about 15 days ago. And hope has arrived in the form of the New Zealand Public Party. Your voice, because we will say what you want us to say. My voice will say what you want me to say. They're your words, they're our words. Your power, because it's you that gives me the mandate. Your party, because you put me here and you wanted this movement to begin. This is hope today, Aotearoa, New Zealand. We are going to go in there, we're going to clean this zoo up. And we've had 700,000 people engage in me, and 690,000 of them say they love what we're doing. We worked out the other day, if we only get 35% of those people to vote for us, we get over 10% of the House. stand for, I'm going to make it really short, I'm going to make it really simple. This is what we stand for, because what we stand for is what all of New Zealanders telling me is what matters to all of us. Number one, freedoms and democracy. That's number one, absolute number one. Number two, government integrity and accountability. Making not only this government or any new government, but past governments accountable for their behaviour. Number three, public safety. And why those three in that order? Because if you don't have public safety, it means you don't have democracy and you don't have government accountability. And the day that the government thinks they no longer serve the people like this government believes, there is no public safety for any of us. That's why it's in the top tier of our pillar program. Underneath that, economic expertise. We need real people that have been businessmen, big, small, medium, people to come up with the solutions. We don't need another career politician or career bureaucrat that's never had an honest day in their lives of work or been in business for themselves make decisions in business. Because these same people are spending your grandkids, our muckles, children and their children's money right now, and they don't know how to pay it back. Which government on this planet, on God's earth, turns up with a $50 billion budget and doesn't know what to do with $20 billion of it? None. Just this government right now. So we need real experts to come in and fix it up. Number two, we need environmental sovereignty. And notice I use the word sovereignty because that's what it is. We need to rid our whenua of 1080. But why 1080? Why is 1080 such an issue? Because they know they can poison the whenua and poison the animals that eat the plants and vegetation of their whenua when they put in the control systems and make it dependent on them. What do us Kiwis do? We'll go in the bush and hunt and gather. And they know if they can poison the land and the water, game over. Game over.
It's control of food and you control the people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Henry Kissinger said exactly that.
That's where I read it.
Oh, I'm glad I got that away. I'll slip it at 20 after as we take it. But environmentalism, you see, this. I tried to explain this to a gentleman last night, the night before, about the environmentalism. Let's not get confused about this, because in the Agenda 30 program they use lovely words like sustainability, social equity, all these nice buzzwords. But what I ask you to do is just go and get a blank pen and go sustainability and just put control in there. Because that's what it means. Because all of us here care about our land, our waters, our seas. We all do. All of us, all Kiwis, Patiaki whenua, we all want to look after our whenua. Look, mate here's got gumboots on, he'll be in his garden tomorrow working on his potatoes. All that sort of thing. Or rather it's broccoli, because that's the season. My garden's not in there at the moment, so I'm not quite with it. But the environmentalism aspect we all care about, but that's not what they talk about in Agenda 30, it's control. So we need to really understand that. But in this environmentalism aspect, we need to be very smart and work with the poor farmers because they want to do better, they really do. We need to partner with them, onboard them onto the environmentalism program. They want to do it, take their tutai and their their booze and wings, and turn it into fuel, turn it into energy. Last year I looked at companies from overseas that build the technology, and you just have a flow channel into this from where they milk the cows. It goes into this vat, collected, and boom, hey presto, fuel and energy. And that's what this government should be doing, but they want to destroy the sector and repurpose the land. The next thing that we need is health and medical sovereignty. As some of you may know, my beautiful 20-year-old son is a big, strapping, handsome boy, big boy. When he was only a baby, he had his MMR, and it destroyed him. He's 20 years old, looks like a great rugby player, but he has the capacity of a low-functional 3-year-old. And his mum, my first wife, lives with him every day, and that set me on my course to learn about what an absolute disaster, what a scam, what a crime of immense proportions the vaccine and the pharmaceutical industry really is. why is it that we have doctors like Dr. Lance O'Sullivan so eager to put vaccine needles in the arms of our children? Why is that? We need to question everything. This is the most serious topic because I've seen the effect, many of you have as well. I spoke to a parent outside just now whose son was affected from it as a baby. So what we need to do, we need to make sure that the alternative, the right options in terms of natural health options are recognised as viable as any other option. Yeah. We need to have a medical and health approach that recognises that health doesn't mean it isn't something that is at the end of a needle and the swallowing of a pill. Yeah. And that's the narrative. If you're sick, you need a needle. If you're sick, you swallow a pill. Now, I'm fighting, in my whānau, we're a whānau full of diabetics. I'm on metformin, but I'm regulating my diet. I want to get off the crack as soon as I can. And sometimes you need it. That's fine. But the narrative, of course, now is that this isn't the option and it's no good. Let's get rid of it. And how are they doing it? Through another UN-related program called Codex Alimentarius. Who knows about Codex? Yep. Fire out, awesome. The most I've seen yet. Codex Alimentarius is a multinational committee of unelected officials that most of them aren't even health officials, and they regulate the programs and the way that governments respond to GMO labelling, GMO, pharmaceutical, and of course the alternative health industry and supplements. And Codex Alimentarius is a functional arm to deliver Agenda 30. They're doing it in Europe right now, to the fact being in the UK right now, you can walk into a vitamin store, go and get, think I'll get some neat vitamin D, some zinc and all that, great stuff, take it home, and then they've reduced the potency of those very same supplements and vitamins to so low in potency that the placebo effect. But what does it do? Brings you back over to the needle and the pill scenario and makes us reliant on synthetic medicine. So what we want to do when we get into government is go, guess what, Pharmac? We're going to start again. We're going to fix this up and we're going to make the medical system a healing and health medical system right over here. Just the last couple of things, finally, before I finish. And that is, up the top I had democracy as the first thing, rights and freedoms and democracy. But on the bottom here, we need national sovereignty. We need national independence. Because if you don't have that, then you won't have the top. That's why I did it in my presentation like that. Because it's the foundation and it adds to the very first point, which is our freedoms and rights. If we do not have our national sovereignty, we'll be dealing with the criminals in the UN forever, and we plan to do that. Is that we want to go in there and we're going to clean the zoo out, clean it up, and we're going to protect our national sovereignty, because that includes our strategic defence relationships. Who are we in bed with in trade? What do these trade agreements mean? I'm back at those. Because you know what I've since discovered on this journey? I've since discovered there are secret agreements that we cannot get our hands on through the Official Information Act, the OIA. We won't get them. They are that secret that you pays their salaries, says no, you can't have it. But trust us. But trust us. Well, I'm sorry, the trust is gone. There is no more trust. Thank you. So just in closing, whānau, this is a family crisis. This is a whānau crisis. This is all of us. I'm very lucky in some ways with my ethnicity. Beautiful mana motohake Māori, whakaputanga, kahuiaro Māori was my dad. Yeah. On that side, my Pākehā, French and Irish mum. So one part of me wants to drink wine and Guinness. Yeah, the other side wants to eat honey all day. But I'm very blessed with it. Why? Because it's given me the makeup that's made me the person that I am today. And that's why I put my history up the front here. If somebody says I work for the UN, it's up there. Somebody claims something else on me, I put it on my front page every time. And we know that the minor parties are working against us, trying to discredit me. We've got all the information. We've got information that is sent to us, internal documents like you wouldn't believe of the other parties that tell us that they hate us and want to discredit me. I don't give a stuff. Why don't I give a stuff? Because you, me, us, all together, that's what matters in defeating this freaking crooked government, getting them out. But there is no point, Whānau, in wasting your vote. There's no point in that. There's no point in that. This movement that I found myself reluctantly at the front of is like nothing the political world has ever seen in all of the history of New Zealand politics. Please come, pardon?
People's movement.
Thank you. And it is. I've heard other parties say they are the people's movement, but they've got this little narrow slice of policy, and they say that's what we all need to get behind. But really, the issue is this broad and this wide, and affects all of us. And because what happens is people don't get everything. They're slowly waking up. But we need to be calm, credible, and factual, and we need to work with them to wake them up. And it's happening. There was a Media Hub, News Hub poll on TV, and the question was to the public, who wants to see Jacinda Ardern in for a second time? And up came 93%. No. No. So people are waking up to this. They are. And I tell you what, half an hour later, that post was down. It was down. But you know what? My team did the screenshot. So finally, I'm going to close off with this. Number one, please, I'm going to ask you to do a couple of things. Please, if you haven't, spread the message about the New Zealand Public Party. It's your movement. It's not mine alone. It's all of us. You may be the leader of this. It's not mine to give away. It's not mine to disrespect. And it's not mine to be prideful about. You've put me here. 700,000 people again have dialed into the message. 98% said they're completely behind it. We have Jacinda, we have Labour supporters. Every event that we do turn up and say they've just resigned from the Labour Party membership and they're coming over and all that. But not only there, National Party, so please spread the word about it. I'm not perfect. I don't have all the answers. But what I know well. I'm honest. I won't lie for you. I'll only be honest with you and for you to win this, because integrity and love will be what will win this fight. And that's what will bring us together. You know, I got claimed last night that I was too Māori. You know, someone posted said, I'm too much of Māori, but you didn't realise I've got a French and Irish mother. So when I was growing up talking about the treaty, you know, all my Pākehā whānau was like, don't talk about that Maori crap. On this side was like, you know, whakaputanga, independent, te tiriri, manaputa ake Māori, and all that. So I've heard both sides of the argument since I was a baby. So I know how we all feel about it, but it's time to pack that down and get behind each other. And that reminds me, the last thing I want to touch on that I forgot to mention was the Treaty of Waitangi, Te Tiriti o Waitangi. I've learned over the last few weeks that this document is not just a Māori document, it's an all New Zealand document. Well, why, bro? Let us just unpack just very briefly, why is it in everyone's document now more than ever? Because the agreement is with the Crown, not with the United Nations. And that's the point. It's everyone's document. It's for all of us, not just Māori, not just natural-born Kiwis, for the immigrants as well that come here. It's everyone's document. And when you unpack it properly, you really do understand the wisdom of the tupuna who wrote it that way in this negotiation table. So please, family, know that I am you and you are me. There's nothing special about me. I've just been out here in the front doing the job that I couldn't see anyone else doing. I've got 6 beautiful kids, 2 mokopuna. I've got a wife that I adore and who loves me and supports me now, thank God, otherwise I'd be probably getting ready for divorce. And I'm serious, I was that concerned about it. But there isn't anything special about me. I'm not a Freemason, never have been. I preach against Freemasonry. I do lectures on it. I don't have wealthy people behind me. Though I do care about big business and trade. I do. We need it now more than ever. Good business. But I'm the same as you. But if there's one thing I want to finish off with is this. The New Zealand Public Party is your voice, because all the people that have come up behind me have given me the words to say. It's your power. I've had people say to me, Billy, just keep presenting, keep talking, doing your work. We will push you into Parliament. Point 3, it's your party. You can do it. I love it. Do it with me. And it's your party because it really is. I had no dreams to do this, but we've done it and we're breaking all the records. Please, whānau, ka hoki mai ki te tautoko I te ope New Zealand Public Party, because it is your voice, it is your power, and it most certainly is your party. Kia ora, thank you very much.